वन डिस्ट्रिक्ट वन प्रोडक्ट ओडीओपी जैसी योजनाओं से भी छोटे किसानों और लघु उद्योगों को नई पहचान मिली है। साथियों, आज भारत दुनिया को विमेन लेड डेवलपमेंट का मार्ग दिखा रहा है। भारत की इकोनॉमी में महिलाओं की भागीदारी लगातार बढ़ रही है। इसका भी फायदा फूड प्रोसेसिंग इंडस्ट्री को हो रहा है। आज भारत में 9 करोड़ से ज्यादा महिलाएं सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप से जुड़ी हैं। आप सब जानते हैं, भारत में हजारों वर्षों से फूड साइंस की लीडिंग साइंटिस्ट महिलाएं ही रही है। हम जो फूड वैरायटी देखते हैं, जो फूड डायवर्सिटी देखते हैं, ये भारतीय महिलाओं की स्किल और नॉलेज का नतीजा है। अचार, पापड़, चीज, मुरब्बा जैसे कितने ही प्रोडक्ट्स के मार्केट को महिलाएं अपने घरों से चलाती रही है। भारत की महिलाओं में फूड प्रोसेसिंग इंडस्ट्री को लीड करने की स्वाभाविक क्षमता है। इसके लिए हर स्तर पर महिलाओं को कुटीर उद्योगों और सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप्स को प्रमोट किया जा रहा है। आज इस कार्यक्रम में भी 1 लाख से ज्यादा महिलाओं को, जो विमेन सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप चलाती हैं, 1 लाख से ज्यादा महिलाओं को करोड़ों रुपयों की सीड कैपिटल दी गई और मैंने टेक्नोलॉजी के लिए अभी यहां से उसको ऑलरेडी उनके खाते में जमा कर दिया। मैं इन महिलाओं को विशेष बधाई देता हूं, अपनी शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। फ्रेंड्स, भारत में जितनी सांस्कृतिक विविधता है, उतनी ही खाद्य विविधता, फूड डायवर्सिटी भी है। हमारी ये फूड डायवर्सिटी दुनिया के हर इन्वेस्टर के लिए एक डिविडेंड है। आज जिस तरह पूरी दुनिया में भारत के प्रति जिज्ञासा बढ़ी है, वो भी आप सभी के लिए बहुत बड़ी अपॉर्चुनिटी लेकर आया है। पूरी दुनिया की फूड इंडस्ट्री के पास भारत की खाद्य परंपराओं से भी सीखने के लिए बहुत कुछ है। हमारे यहां सदियों से एक बात, यानी जीवन का हिस्सा है, हर परिवार की सोच का हिस्सा है। हमारे यहां कहा जाता है, यथा अन्नम तथा मन्नम, अर्थात हम जैसा खाना खाते हैं वैसा ही हमारा मन भी बनता है। यानी फूड न केवल हमारी फिजिकल हेल्थ में बहुत बड़ा फैक्टर होता है, बल्कि हमारी मेंटल हेल्थ में भी बहुत बड़ा रोल निभाता है। भारत का सस्टेनेबल फूड कल्चर हजारों वर्षों की विकास यात्रा का परिणाम है। हमारे पूर्वजों ने फूड हैबिट्स को आयुर्वेद से जोड़ा। आयुर्वेद में कहा जाता है, ऋतु भुक अर्थात सीजन के हिसाब से खान पान, मित भूख अर्थात बैलेंस डाइट, और हित भूख अर्थात हेल्दी फूड्स। ये भारत की वैज्ञानिक समझ का अहम हिस्सा है। सदियों से भारत से होने वाले खाद्यान्न और खासकर मसालों के व्यापार के जरिए भारत के इस ज्ञान का लाभ पूरे विश्व को मिलेगा। आज जब हम ग्लोबल फूड सिक्योरिटी की बात करते हैं, जब ग्लोबल हेल्थ को लेकर इतने कंसर्न्स एक्सप्रेस किए जाते हैं, तो ये जरूरी हो गया है कि हमारी फूड प्रोसेसिंग इंडस्ट्री सस्टेनेबल और हेल्दी फूड हैबिट के इस एंशिएंट नॉलेज को भी जाने, समझे और उसे एडॉप्ट करे। मैं आपको उदाहरण देता हूं मिलेट्स का। इस साल दुनिया इंटरनेशनल मिलेट्स ईयर मना रही है। हम सब जानते हैं कि मिलेट्स हमारी सुपर फूड बकेट का हिस्सा है। भारत में हमने इसे श्री अन्न की पहचान दी है। सदियों से अधिकांश सिविलाइजेशन में मिलेट्स यानी श्री अन्न को बहुत प्राथमिकता दी जाती थी। लेकिन ये बीते कुछ दशकों में भारत समेत अनेक देशों से मिलेट्स फूड हैबिट से बाहर होते चले गए। इसका बहुत बड़ा नुकसान ग्लोबल हेल्थ को भी हुआ, सस्टेनेबल फार्मिंग को भी हुआ और सस्टेनेबल इकोनॉमी को भी हुआ। भारत की पहल पर आज दुनिया में एक बार फिर मिलेट्स को लेकर जागरूकता अभियान शुरू हुआ है। मुझे विश्वास है जैसे इंटरनेशनल योग दिवस ने योग को दुनिया के कोने कोने तक पहुंचाया, वैसे ही अब मिलेट्स भी दुनिया के कोने कोने तक पहुंचेंगे। अभी जब भारत ने G20 समिट में दुनिया के बड़े बड़े लीडर्स को होस्ट किया और इसी स्थान पे हुआ था, तो उन्हें भी मिलेट से बनी डिशेस खूब पसंद आई। आज भारत में कई बड़ी बड़ी कंपनियां मिलेट से बने प्रोसेस्ड फूड आइटम मार्केट में लॉन्च कर रही है। इस दिशा में कैसे ज्यादा से ज्यादा अवसर बने, कैसे श्री अन्न की फूड मार्केट में हिस्सेदारी बढ़े, आप सब इस पर चर्चा करें। इसका एक कलेक्टिव रोड मैप तैयार करें जिसका लाभ इंडस्ट्री और किसान दोनों को हो। फ्रेंड्स, इस कॉन्फ्रेंस में आपके सामने कई फ्यूचरिस्टिक सब्जेक्ट्स के लिए चर्चा होने वाली है। इंडस्ट्री और बड़े वैश्विक हित दोनों विषय पर आप चर्चा करें, उस दिशा में कदम उठाएं। जैसे कि G20 ग्रुप ने दिल्ली डिक्लेरेशन में सस्टेनेबल एग्रीकल्चर, फूड सिक्योरिटी और न्यूट्रिशन सिक्योरिटी पर जोर दिया है। इस विषय में फूड प्रोसेसिंग से जुड़े सभी पार्टनर्स की बहुत बड़ी भूमिका है। हमें इसके लिए खुद को तैयार करना होगा। हम देश में 10 करोड़ से ज्यादा बच्चों को, गर्ल्स और प्रेग्नेंट वीमेन को पोषक आहार उपलब्ध कराते हैं। अब समय है कि हम खाद्य वितरण कार्यक्रम को डाइवर्सिफाइड फूड बास्केट की दिशा में ले जाएं। इसी तरह हमें पोस्ट हार्वेस्ट लॉसेस को और कम करना होगा। पैकेजिंग में और बेहतर टेक्नोलॉजी लाने के लिए काम करना होगा। सस्टेनेबल लाइफस्टाइल के लिए फूड वेस्टेज को भी रोकना एक बड़ी चुनौती है। हमारे प्रोडक्ट्स ऐसे होने चाहिए जिनसे वेस्टेज रुके। टेक्नोलॉजी भी इसमें एक अहम रोल अदा कर सकती है। हमें पेरिसेबल प्रोडक्ट्स की प्रोसेसिंग ज्यादा से ज्यादा बढ़ानी होगी। इससे वेस्टेज भी कम होगा, किसानों को भी फायदा होगा और प्राइस फ्लक्चुएशन को रोकने में भी मदद मिलेगी। हमें किसानों के हितों और कंज्यूमर सेटिस्फैक्शन के बीच भी संतुलन बनाना होगा। मुझे विश्वास है इस आयोजन में ऐसे सभी विषयों पर विस्तार से विमर्श होगा। यहां जो निष्कर्ष निकलेंगे उनसे विश्व के लिए एक सस्टेनेबल और फूड सिक्योर भविष्य की नींव पड़ेगी। आप सभी को एक बार फिर मेरी अनेक अनेक शुभकामनाएं हैं। और मैं जो लोग दिल्ली है, दिल्ली के आसपास है, जो इन विषयों में रुचि रखते हैं, चाहे एग्रीकल्चर यूनिवर्सिटी के स्टूडेंट्स हो, स्टार्टअप की दुनिया के लोग हो, किसान संगठन चलाने वाले लोग हैं वो, मैं उनसे आग्रह करूंगा, कभी 3 दिन ये फेस्टिवल यहां चलने वाला है, आप जरूर आइए, 2-4 घंटे लगाइए, देखिए दुनिया कितनी तेजी से बदल रही है। हमारे खेत की हर चीज का कितने प्रकार से उपयोग हम कर सकते हैं, हम कैसे वैल्यू एडिशन करके हमारी इनकम बढ़ा सकते हैं। बहुत सारी चीजें आज यहां मौजूद है। मेरे पास जितना समय था, लेकिन उसमें जितना भी मुझे देखने का अवसर मिला, वो वाकई प्रभावित करने वाला है। और इसलिए मैं यहां है जो उनको तो आग्रह करूंगा कि एक स्टॉल पर जाकर के उन चीजों को देखें, उसको आगे बढ़ाने में, उसमें भी वैल्यू एडिशन का काम आप कर सकते हैं। लेकिन मैं देश के लोगों को भी कहूंगा कि जिसके पास भी दिल्ली पहुंचने की भी संभावना हो, वो 3 दिन का ये फायदा उठाए और इतने बड़े भव्य आयोजन का लाभ वे भी लें। इसी अपेक्षा के साथ आप सबको अनेक अनेक शुभकामनाएं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी, आपके प्रेरणा भरी शब्दों ने हम सब में एक नया उत्साह भर दिया है। Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. We express our heartfelt gratitude to you for gracing this event. Your esteemed presence has added a significant aura to this occasion, and your address during the inauguration was truly inspiring and insightful.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's best 5G smartphone brand.
The Enforcement Directorate is conducting searches at 25 locations across Rajasthan in the Jal Jeevan Mission case. The Income Tax Department officials have conducted searches at the premises related to Tamil Nadu Minister E.V. Velu. Currently, the IT search is underway at the financial institution, the Gandhipuram area of Karur district. ED team conducted a raid at the residence of a man named Asim, also known as Bappa, in Bhilai of Durg district last night in connection with Mahadev betting app case. Air quality in Noida continues to worsen. AQI in the Noida sector 125 is at 400 in the very poor category. In sector 62 it's at 483. Sector 1 it is at 413, and sector 116 it is at 415, which is in the severe category. The Municipal Corporation of Delhi has carried out sprinkling of water in the city's Lodi Road as a measure against the rising AQI. As per the Central Pollution Control Board, air quality across Delhi has worsened into the severe category. Haze is also engulfing Mumbai as air quality has worsened. The air quality in Mumbai has been deteriorating over the past few days. Hours after the BJP released its third list of candidates for Rajasthan elections, the BJP has released a list of 2 candidates for the upcoming elections in Rajasthan. The BJP releases a video showing top Congress leader revealing the party's strategy to get Muslim votes.
As we report from the ground zero, the loud bangs can be heard in the background. These are the artillery fires that are being done on the targets of Hamas and Hamas terror cadres that are roughly a mile from here. Israel Defense Forces are technically moving inside. The 3 teams that entered and now split into close to a dozen locations. That clearly shows that how this operation is planned and is being executed. The missile attacks can also be carried out at the targets of Hamas. was 5:30 on the morning of 7th of October when the terrorists of Hamas barged into a kibbutz that is 2.1 kilometers from the border. This is kibbutz Nir Ozi, and as we walk inside the kibbutz Nir Ozi, there are the pictures of the drastic horror that the terrorists of Hamas have unleashed here at the ground zero. They have also put the gasoline so as to ensure.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's best 5G smartphone brand.
The US Secretary of State Antony Blinken has reiterated Washington's support for Israel in the ongoing conflict with Hamas and said that while Israel has the right to defend itself, but as democracies, there is a responsibility to protect civilians as well. The US House has passed a bill to provide USD $14.3 billion in aid to Israel amid the ongoing war with Hamas. However, it is expected to set up a clash with the Democratic-led Senate. It is going to be a test for the early leadership of the newly elected Speaker, Mike Johnson. And Israel Defense Forces have released Thursday several videos of combat activity in the Gaza Strip as troops prepare to enter Gaza City. The IDF reported that over 130 terrorists have been thwarted in recent hours and that troops struck terrorist infrastructure and destroyed large number of weapons. The BJP hits out at Mahua Moitro's inappropriate questions claim.
फिर से शेलिंग शुरू हो चुकी है। इस धमाकों की आवाज बैकग्राउंड में आ रही, शायद आप सुन भी पा रहे हो। आज का दिन बहुत अहम है आईडीएफ के लिए, क्योंकि गाजा पट्टी का वो इलाका जहां पर हमास के आतंकवादी रह रहे थे, उनमें बहुत सारे जो ठिकाने थे लॉन्चिंग पैड से, उनको तबाह किया गया है। आज भी एक बड़ा ऑपरेशन प्लान कर रही है आईडीएफ फोर्सेज और गाजा के अंदर दाखिल होकर आज भी बड़ा ऑपरेशन अंजाम दिया जाएगा। तेल अवीव में अमेरिकन अधिकारी पहुंचे और कुछ जो अमेरिकन मरीन्स हैं वो एक संयुक्त ऑपरेशन आज रात को करने जा रहे हैं गाजा के इलाके में। हम किशोर फिल्म में है, तस्वीरें आपको डरा देंगी, झकझोर देंगी। सुबह 6:30 बजे का वक्त था और यहाँ पर आतंकवादी अचानक पहुँचते हैं। करीब उनकी तादाद 180 रहती है। घर में घुसकर ताबड़तोड़ गोलियां चलाना शुरू कर देते हैं। इतनी ब्रुटैलिटी शायद ही कभी इतिहास में किसी ने देखी होगी। बच्चों को मारा, बूढ़ों को मारा और उसके बाद घर को आग के हवाले कर दिया। ये तस्वीरें देखिए, ये पूरा किचन का एरिया है जिसे जलाकर राख कर दिया गया। हमास के आतंकवादियों ने यहाँ पर ब्रुटैलिटी दिखाई है और इतनी बड़े पैमाने पर नरसंहार किया कि हम उसकी विवेचना नहीं कर सकते।
It was 5:30 on the morning of 7th of October when the terrorists of Hamas barged into a kibbutz that is 2.1 kilometers from the border. This is kibbutz Nir Ozi, and as we walk inside the kibbutz Nir Ozi, there are the pictures of the drastic horror.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's best 5G smartphone brand.
Here's a quick reminder of our top stories. Day after Mahua Moitra stormed out of the panel meeting, opposition leaders will be meeting the Lok Sabha Speaker. Meanwhile, the BJP hits out at Moitra's inappropriate question claims, demands proof from her and opposition MPs. In Raipur, Amit Shah is set to release the BJP's election manifesto ahead of assembly elections. Israeli troops continue to wage fierce battles against the Hamas terrorists, say 130 terrorists have so far been killed. The External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar hits out against the Hamas attacks, calling it a big act of terrorism, but also calling for a solution for Palestine. Now, as the Mahua Moitra payoff scam continues to explode, the BJP has now slammed the opposition MPs who staged a walkout from the ethics panel meeting. The BJP MP Nishikant Dubey has now taken to social media, challenging that if personal questions were asked to the TMC MP Mahua Moitra, then he will retire from politics. He also demanded proof that such questions were asked. Now, this comes after the opposition party's MPs, including the Trinamool Congress leader Mahua Moitra and the BSP MP Danish Ali, walked out of the Parliament Ethics Committee meeting. And Mahua, who was asked to depose before the panel in connection with these allegations, accused the Ethics Committee of asking filthy questions. Now, we have been getting reactions from both the opposition and the government. Let's listen into what has been said. First by the BJP and thereafter.
ये जो ड्रामाबाजी ये विरोधी पक्ष ने किया है, क्योंकि इससे बचने के लिए किया है, जनता को कंफ्यूजन के लिए किया है, लेकिन जो उन्होंने काम किया है ये देश विरोधी है, देश का सुरक्षा का विषय है। इसमें कोई पार्टी का रंग कलर नहीं है, इसमें एक नेशनल सिक्योरिटी का इसमें इशू है, तो इसको अच्छे से जांच होना चाहिए। एथिक्स कमेटी पूरा देख रहे हैं, हम लोग चाहते हैं कि इसका जल्दी विचार हो जाए और जो ये दोष अगर इन्होंने सच में किया है, शास्ति होना चाहिए।
देखिए, ऐसा है, अडानी के खिलाफ जो बोलेगा उसके खिलाफ बहुत सारे आरोप मढ़ दिए गए जाएंगे। मान लेता हूँ कि आईडी लॉगिन दे दिया हीरानंदानी को, ये सभी करीब करीब एमपी करते हैं कि अपने पीएस को दे देते हैं या जान पहचान के लोगों को दे देते हैं। क्योंकि महुआ मोइत्रा अडानी के खिलाफ बोलती रही है, जो अडानी के खिलाफ बोलता है वो टारगेट किया जाता है। राहुल जी ने बोला, उनको सजा भी मिली और पार्लियामेंट से सदस्यता भी उनकी चली गई थी। तो यही है इनका। और ये जो बड़े बड़े भ्रष्टाचार हैं जिससे देश खतरे में, जैसे पेगासस है, देश खतरे में उसको माना जा सकता है। लेकिन यह है कि अब जो कैश फॉर क्वेरी की बात है, कैश का कोई ट्रांजैक्शन का कोई अभी तक प्रमाण तो है नहीं, तो ट्रांजैक्शन का प्रमाण आए तो कोई बात हो। अभी तक तो केवल बस हल्ला गुल्ला कर रहे हैं लोग।
Mahua Moitra has really and has continuously, and I would say, might I add, very stupidly, dug her own pit even further, because right now she does not even need a spade. She can just go parachute into her pit. Because here is a woman, when the Parliamentary Ethics Committee is deciding or is investigating something as serious as a possible breach to national security, having all the information, data and evidence based on a complaint. So it was, this ethics committee did not just sit on the basis of a complaint, frivolous or otherwise, as she claims it to be. This ethics committee is sitting after that complaint has been investigated, the complainants have been investigated, the complainant statements have been taken, the evidence related to that complaint has been verified, and that evidence placed in front of them, and Mahua Moitra was confronted with that evidence. So if the ethics committee asks, where were you? When did you travel to XYZ location or XYZ country? When was this unaccounted for foreign trip? Whom did you travel with, if at all you traveled with anyone?
Harsha is joining us live right now. Harsha, there seems to be two sides of the story now, even as the other members of the ethics committee continue to maintain that all these questions that were asked were very pertinent to the issue that was being debated. Mahua Moitra and other opposition leaders seem to think that they were unnecessary and inappropriate is essentially the allegation. How do you see this going further now? Is Mahua Moitra been asked to, has she been summoned again, or what path does it take now?
Right now, what we know is that no new date by the ethics committee has come so far or is announced whether what decision will be taken against Mahua Moitra because she broke the law of the ethics committee. She walked out of the meeting. She walked out of the ethics committee meeting. The meeting was going on, and following Mahua Moitra, the other leaders of the opposition parties also left the ethics committee meeting. They are alleging that the chairman of the ethics committee, Vinod Sonkar, used undignified language against Mahua Moitra. They're also stating that the line of questioning was inappropriate, which was demeaning to the lady, TMC MP Mahua Moitra. And let me tell you, Nupur, now the political face-off has erupted over Mahua Moitra's deposition, which was followed by a heated argument inside the ethics committee. Now we know that no new date has been announced by the ethics committee because there is a severe punishment for those who leave the witness box without the meeting getting concluded. So for now, we are waiting for a response from chairman of the ethics committee, Vinod Sonkar, because what the procedure tells us that again the meeting will be called and the suggestions will be sought with all the members of the ethics committee what action should be taken against Mahua Moitra, and then only the suggestions will be then sent to Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla for the final decision on Mahua Moitra. But Vinod Sonkar, the chairman of the ethics committee, exclusively spoke to the Republic and clearly stated that the line of questioning was appropriate. Only the questions regarding Darshan Hiranandani gave Mahua Moitra cash and jewelry and expensive gift. Only those questions were posed to Mahua Moitra, but Mahua Moitra didn't respond on any of the questions. She was continuously evading the questions, and in fact, the opposition leaders were taking favor of Mahua Moitra, and they were continuously asking why to ask such irrelevant questions to Mahua Moitra. But the questions were relevant because Darshan Hiranandani in the affidavit clearly made some serious revelations on the unaccounted foreign trips, on the travel expenses which Darshan Hiranandani bore of Mahua Moitra, and also of the cash and expensive jewelry and gift items which Mahua Moitra received from Darshan Hiranandani. All these were the questions which were posed to Mahua Moitra, but now the opposition has come together and they are garnering more support from the other opposition party by making this a bigger fight. Also, we are getting to know, Nupur, that the opposition leaders will be meeting Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla on this, and they will be sorting this issue by stating that this matter should not be referred to the ethics committee and the line of questioning was clearly inappropriate. So they are going to make a complaint against Vinod Sonkar, the chairman of the ethics committee, to the Lok Sabha Speaker. So this is what we know so far, and we have to wait and watch exactly what is going to happen in the coming days. Back to you.
All right. Now, even as this happens, and obviously we are seeing a back and forth between various members of the ethics panel, this is not a case which has, precedence in terms of the fact that before this we haven't really seen a case like that being discussed in the ethics panel. So, is there any discussion how, this is going to go forward? Because in this deposition, which now remains incomplete, Mahua Moitra says that she has not been able to give her side.
No, but that is the statement which is coming from TMC Mahua Moitra. But for almost 1 hour, when the meeting started, Mahua Moitra's deposition started by Mahua Moitra speaking for herself. And in the start of the beginning of the meeting only, Mahua Moitra was speaking about her personal life. She gave committee the overview of what is her relationship with Jay Anand Dehatre, the lawyer. She also went on saying that Jay is taking revenge against her because both of them were in relation. And that is why the baseless and false allegation against Mahua Moitra is leveled. She started with her personal life, but the committee stated that they have no interest in Mahua Moitra's personal life. They only want to know about the evidence and whether her account was logged in Dubai for 47 times. How many times did she go to Dubai, France, UK and other countries, and did she receive any cash in exchange for questions from Darshan Hiranandani? And did Darshan Hiranandani drafted the questions for Mahua Moitra which she raised in the parliament? Those were the questions which were posed to Mahua Moitra, but she moreover was speaking on her personal life in the ethics committee, and the ethics committee leaders Vishnu Das Sharma, Rajdeep Roy and Aprajita Sarangi all questioned Mahua Moitra not to reply on her personal life, but to stick to the facts and the evidence, because evidence was kept in front of Mahua Moitra, which were initially shared by Nishikant Dubey, Jay Anand, Dehat Rai, and in the form of affidavit by Darshan Hiranandani as well. So now what BJP is alleging is that Mahua Moitra want to save herself because her lie is in public. Everyone know that she gave her login credential to Darshan Hiranandani. She was jeopardizing with the national security of the country in exchange for expensive gifts and in view of traveling abroad. So now this matter is taken to a different altogether, stage, because now some stringent action will be taken against Mahua Moitra for not following the protocol and rules of the ethics committee. Back to you.
All right. Harsha, thank you very much for joining us with those details. So as Harsha is pointing out, of course, we'll have to wait and watch for how this plays out. But as the scandal now explodes, Republic TV spoke to the ethics panel member Rajdeep Roy. Let's listen to what he told us.
Hello and welcome. You're watching the Trending Burning Question with me, Shavan Sen. Ladies and gentlemen, earlier in the day, Trinamool Congress parliamentarian Mahua Moitra stormed out of that ethics panel meeting that took place at the parliament in the national capital. Remember, she was basically summoned by the ethics panel to depose before the panel members. This after some serious allegations have been levelled against her by parliamentarian Nishikant Dubey and advocate Jay Anand. Remember, the allegations are sensational to say the least. Questions that she was asking on the floor of the parliament was this at the behest of businessman Darshan Hiranandani, a man in direct competition with the Adani group. Remember, Trinamool Congress parliamentarian Mahua Moitra has been asking questions on Adani group on the floor of the parliament. She says it's in the interest of the nation. But the fact of the matter is that her login ID was shared with the businessman, something that she has already admitted. So why did Trinamool Congress parliamentarian Mahua Moitra really storm out of the ethic panel meeting that took place? And then she made some very sensational allegations. Is there any truth to the allegations that have been levelled by Trinamool Congress parliamentarian? Joining me on the Trending Burning Question tonight is Dr. Rajdeep Roy. He is a BJP parliamentarian and also a member of the ethics panel. Dr. Roy, thank you very much for speaking to Republic TV. Let me straight away begin by asking you, you were present in that particular meeting. I'm not getting into the details of the meeting right away, but let me first begin by asking you. 6 opposition parliamentarians staged a walkout that was led by Mahua Moitra, and she says personal questions were being asked. She was asked whom was she talking to at night. There were personal questions which the ethic panel has no business to ask. Is there any truth to it?
It was not asked in a way you are presenting it, or maybe the opposition leaders said. Of course, the question on how many calls were asked, but not at night. That is concocted, malicious, and it is frivolous, number one. Number two, I think whatever questions were asked were within the purview of the ethics committee to be asked, because we needed to come to a conclusion. This was the second day of the sitting. We gave deposition chance to Mr. Nishikant Dubey and Mr. Jay Anand. So the third person was called today, as in Ms. Mahua Moitra. Almost for 2.5 hours she was speaking, and we listened to her with a lot of patience and painstakingly. We did not ask her a single question at that point of time in the first hour of the deposition. Once we had the lunch and had a second sitting, which started from around, say, maybe 2:15 onwards, and then the chairman sir started asking questions. She, in initial part, she gave her response, but obviously, slowly she got agitated, and
in the process she lost her cool, and in the process we saw Mr. Danish Ali, Mr. Yadav, they also started questioning the intention of the committee and the chairman, and that's when all hell broke loose almost like, and they left the house boycotting the proceedings of the meeting. We continued with our meeting and took a decision that maybe we will sit again in a coming day, suitable to everybody, and then do a logical conclusion of what the task has been assigned to as the ethics committee.
Dr. Roy, to understand this, you said there was a trigger point, and post-lunch, Ms. Mahua Moitra lost her cool even inside the meeting, because what we saw right now captured on our cameras was her storming out of the panel meeting. Could you give us a sense that did she actually lose her cool right inside the meeting, and what was the trigger point?
Now look, I cannot get into the details of what the questions were asked and what was the flashpoint and all, but I can tell you this question, none of the questions were very personal in nature. None of the questions were related to her relationship with Mr. Hiranandani or what were the personal gratification that was done. Because in the first part of the deposition, when she was asked to make her comments, she spoke a lot about her personal issues with Mr. Jayanant and all, which none of the members in the ethics committee were actually interested in. To be honest to everybody and all, none of the these things members in the ethics committee were interested in her personal life or what happened between Mr. Jay and Ms. Mahua and all. What task has been assigned to the ethics committee is look into the issue of morality, cash for money, whether there was any transaction which took place for asking question on behalf of a businessman. That was what, whether login was shared to a person who was operating on her behalf from offshore. And what we are given to understand, and it's also there in the media, is that almost 49 times login took place from Dubai. So that was a serious question. And she said that she actually, she gave login because OTP used to come to her mobile, and she shared the OTP with whoever that person was for secretarial work. That was her deposition today. But to be honest, none of the questions that were asked were outside the purview of this committee, the task that was given to that committee.
External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar hits out at the Hamas attacks, calling it a big act of terrorism, but also calls for a two-state solution to Palestine. And Antony Blinken is set to arrive in Tel Aviv today, expected to call for a pause in fighting.
गाजा के बहुत करीब है, करीब 500 मीटर की दूरी पर यहाँ गाजा है। ये एशकॉल सेटलमेंट का एरिया है। यहाँ पर टैंक्स तैनात किए गए हैं। रात भर यहाँ पे शेलिंग होती रही। ये वो इलाका है जो सबसे करीब था जब आतंकवादी 7 अक्टूबर को घुसे यहाँ पर। ये बेतरतीब तस्वीरें बताती हैं कि आखिर किस तरह से आतंकवादियों ने मासूम लोगों को निशाना बनाया। आर्मी की BMP जाती हुई दिखाई दे रही है। लगातार सैनिकों के आने जाने का सिलसिला यहाँ पर लगातार जारी है और तस्वीरें हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं। ये हमें इशारा कर रहे हैं कि हमें यहाँ नहीं रुकना है। फिर से शेलिंग शुरू हो चुकी है। धमाकों की आवाज बैकग्राउंड में आ रही, शायद आप सुन भी पा रहे हो। आज का दिन बहुत अहम है आईडीएफ के लिए, क्योंकि गाजा पट्टी का वो इलाका जहां पर हमास के आतंकवादी रह रहे थे, उनमें बहुत सारे जो ठिकाने थे लॉन्चिंग पैड से, उनको तबाह किया गया है। आज भी एक बड़ा ऑपरेशन प्लान कर रही है आईडीएफ फोर्सेज और गाजा के अंदर दाखिल होकर आज भी बड़ा ऑपरेशन अंजाम दिया जाएगा। तेल अवीव में अमेरिकन अधिकारी पहुंचे और कुछ जो अमेरिकन मरीन्स हैं वो एक संयुक्त ऑपरेशन आज रात को करने जा रहे हैं गाजा के इलाके में। इस वक्त हम किशोर फिल्म में हैं, तस्वीरें आपको डरा देंगी, झकझोर देंगी। सुबह 6:30 बजे का वक्त था और यहाँ पर आतंकवादी अचानक पहुंचते हैं। करीब उनकी तादाद 180 रहती है। घर में घुसकर ताबड़तोड़ गोलियां चलाना शुरू कर देते हैं। इतनी ब्रुटैलिटी शायद ही कभी इतिहास में किसी ने देखी होगी। बच्चों को मारा, बूढ़ों को मारा और उसके बाद घर को आग के हवाले कर दिया। ये तस्वीर
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's best 5G smartphone brand.
The U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken reiterated Washington's support for Israel in the ongoing conflict with the Hamas and said that while Israel has the right to defend itself, but as democracies, there is a responsibility to protect civilians. The U.S. House has passed a bill to provide $14.3 billion in aid to Israel amid the ongoing war with the Hamas. However, it is expected to set up a clash with the Democratic-led Senate. The Israeli Defense Forces have released Thursday several videos of combat activity in Gaza Strip as troops prepare to enter Gaza City. The IDF reported that over 130 terrorists have been spotted in recent hours and that troops struck infrastructure and destroyed large number of weapons. Blasts could be heard and flares were visible in the night sky over Gaza as the war between Israel and Hamas continues. The Palestinian death toll in Israel-Hamas war has now crossed 9,061. The US has been flying surveillance drones over Gaza in an attempt to search for captives taken by Hamas on the October 7 attack. The number of journalists killed covering the Israel-Gaza conflict has now risen to 36. The toll includes 31 Palestinians, 4 Israelis and 1 Lebanese. Russia will send a shipment of 28 tons containing humanitarian aid to the Gaza Strip, according to the Russian Emergency Situations Ministry. The aid consists of medicines, hemostatic agents as well as dressing materials and will be handed over to representatives of the Egyptian Red Crescent Society for further shipment to Gaza Strip. The US President Joe Biden and his top advisors are warning Israel with growing force that it will become increasingly difficult for it to pursue its military goals in Gaza as global outcry intensifies about the scale of the humanitarian suffering there. Israeli troops continue to wage fierce battles against Hamas terrorists. 130 Hamas terrorists have been killed. And Antony Blinken is set to arrive in Tel Aviv today.
Israel is all prepared for the big war, the Hamas terrorists.
The rockets being fired, of course, at Kibbutz Be'eri only.
बहुत सारे ऐसे इलाके हैं जहां अभी भी हमास के आतंकी फायर कर रहे हैं।
Get down again, it's a missile.
कम से कम दर्जन भर रॉकेट्स की आवाज आई है जो हिजबुल्लाह ने दागे हैं।
We have been hearing continuously an explosion.
तकरीबन 50 से 70 BMP जो हैं वो फॉरवर्ड एरियाज पर हैं।
The people here were staying, but there was a rocket that was fired.
एशकुलॉन की तरफ में टैंक्स जा रहे हैं।
हमारी सबसे बड़ी टीम ग्राउंड जीरो पर है।
was 5:30 on the morning of 7th of October when the terrorists of Hamas barged into a kibbutz that is 2.1 kilometers from the border. This is Kibbutz Nir Ozi. And as we walk inside the Kibbutz Nir Ozi, there are the pictures of the drastic horror that the terrorists of Hamas have unleashed here at the ground zero. They have also put the gasoline so as to ensure that all people are burned. More than 100 people were killed by the terrorists of Hamas and 80 have been abducted from this kibbutz.
गाजा के बहुत करीब है, करीब 500 मीटर की दूरी पर यहाँ गाजा है। ये एशकॉल सेटलमेंट का एरिया है। यहाँ पर टैंक्स तैनात किए गए रात भर। यहाँ पे शेलिंग होती रही। ये वो इलाका है जो सबसे करीब था जब आतंकवादी 7 अक्टूबर को घुसे यहाँ पर। ये बेतरतीब तस्वीरें बताती हैं कि आखिर किस तरह से आतंकवादियों ने मासूम लोगों को निशाना बनाया। आर्मी की बीएमपी जाती भी दिखाई दे रही है। लगातार सैनिकों के आने जाने का सिलसिला यहाँ पर लगातार जारी है और तस्वीरें हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं। ये हमें इशारा कर रहे हैं कि हमें यहाँ नहीं रुकना है।
As we report from the ground zero, the loud bangs can be heard in the background. These are the artillery fires that are being done on the targets of Hamas and Hamas terror cadres that are roughly a mile from here. Israel Defense Forces are technically moving inside. The 3 teams that entered and now split into close to a dozen locations. That clearly shows that how this operation is planned and is being executed. The missile attacks can also be carried out at the targets of Hamas.
Viewers, top headlines tracking right now. Republic newsbreak on Congress divided rule. Video sets the election campaign agenda. BJP slams Congress over its strategy to polarize Muslim votes in Rajasthan. Ethics panel member says there is no question of another chance to Mahua, who misbehaved on Thursday. School shut, curbs on construction and Delhi chokes due to severe air quality index. Israeli troops continue to wage fierce battle against Hamas terrorists, say 130 Hamas terrorists killed. U.S. State Secretary Antony Blinken set to arrive in Tel Aviv today, expected to call for pauses in fighting to allow aid into Gaza during visit. Viewers, we are live and breaking. I'm Shivangi Shukla getting you the latest. Let's go straight to what's happening in the Israel-Hamas conflict. The war has entered its 28th day with the IDF soldiers conducting fierce battles against Hamas terrorists in the Gaza Strip. During the strikes, the IDF has said around 130 terrorists were killed. That is right. The IDF says it also destroyed a number of terrorist infrastructure that was located in civilian areas and military compounds. The IDF has also released a video of the same. The visuals on the screen of IDF ramping up its attack against Hamas. Let's go straight to Gursimran, who's joining us live. And Gursimran has been reporting for us on ground, from ground zero, getting us all the details and getting us all the updates. Gursimran, I just want to come across to you. And while you have been there and watching everything from your own eyes. Can you just tell us exactly what's happening right now? The IDF is saying that 130 terrorists have been eliminated, and at the same time, Antony Blinken will also be arriving. So we are seeing multiple updates coming today, Gursimran.
See, Shivangi, what is happening today is the jets are roaring in the sky. These are the fighter jets of Israel Defense Forces that are carrying out the pin-precision strikes inside the category, the territory of the Gaza. Apart from that, the Apache helicopters, which are the fighter helicopters, they have also been swung into the action. We are being told that at least a dozen Apache helicopters are operating inside the territory of Gaza, carrying out the pin-precision strike. The decision was taken yesterday by the Israel Defense Forces to conduct the Apache attack helicopter inside the Gaza due to the rising number of casualties that they got in the first day, that is day before yesterday. Yesterday they got some 18 casualties on ground while operating. The reason being that as they move towards the Gaza city, the area is getting denser with each passing minute, and this is being used by the terrorists of Hamas to carry out the ambush, to carry out the coordinated attack on the Israel Defense Forces. So now to make sure that there is no collateral damage, the attack helicopter, that is Apache, has been inducted into the operations. And since then, we are told that more than 130 terrorists have been neutralized by the Israel Defense Forces, and the operation continues. This is going to be really very challenging for the Israel Defense Forces because they are entering the area which is considered as the fort of Hamas. The Hamas has a territorial network. They have the network of ambush, booby traps, and apart from that, we have also seen that how they have deployed sniper at some locations and Fedayeen attackers so that they can carry out more and more attacks on the Israel Defense Forces. So the Israel side is making sure that everything is ensured, and also as we speak, the Secretary Blinken has landed in Tel Aviv to meet the side of Israel. See, this visit and the operations on ground seems to be going on the different paths. The Secretary Blinken is here to have a pause on the ongoing operations, while the Israel side, as we speak from the border area of Sderot, is operating in its full strength. So Israel has already made it very clear that they won't be bowing to any international pressure. But now when their main ally, the United States, who stood with them like a wall, they are coming to them with a request that there needs to be a ceasefire, there needs to be a temporary halt so that the civilians of the foreign countries, they reach the spot. That is something it has to be seen, because now the landing of Secretary Blinken means that there will be going to some serious talks between the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the Secretary Blinken, and what will happen post that, because there are many speculations that are on the rise. So have to see how things actually pan out from here. Will the side of Israel be accepting the recommendation that will be made by the United States that there needs to be a ceasefire for the time being so that the citizens of US and other countries, they can be taken out of the Gaza, or for some time so that the situation can be streamlined so that there is no civilian casualty in the ongoing conflict.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as we are reporting live, we are seeing Antony Blinken, Gursimran, just landing in Tel Aviv a short while back. Now, Antony Blinken has said very clearly that Israel has the right to defend itself, and also saying that the citizens have to be protected, also saying that Israel has the right and Israel can defend itself if it needs to. Very, very important point being raised, especially because Hamas is using civilians, including men, women and children, as human shields. And Blinken saying this is a monstrous and a terrible, inhumane tactic.
See, there is no doubt that what the Hamas terrorists have done is inhuman, but now the question is that the pressure is mounting on the Israel side, and the US is also the one that is calling for some of the relief to the civilians in the Gaza, because there has been a massive casualties of the civilians that have taken place in the airstrikes that have been carried out by the Israel Defense Forces. So that is the world community is now trying to mount the pressure, but the Israel side, they are very firm on their stand that they don't want any of the negotiations to happen. They said that with their military might, they will be weakening the Hamas terrorists, and then they will come on toes to release the hostages. But will that be a solution? Because the Hamas side has made it amply clear that if airstrikes are stopped, then they are ready to release the hostages, and in the days to come, they will be releasing some of the foreign hostages. So now they are trying to bargain, they are trying to come to the negotiation table, And with the US playing a key role along with the Qatar, it seems that there might be some temporary relief, at least if not to Hamas, then to the civilians who are living in the Gaza, that some time be given to them so that they can move out from the places. Otherwise, the number of the civilian casualties that we are witnessing on almost daily basis in triple digits, that is something really very concerning for the entire global community, that there needs to be no collateral damage even in the war against terror.
Absolutely, Gursaram. Thank you for getting us all the details coming in. Just right now, Antony Blinken has arrived in Israel a short while back. And remember, viewers, now they will have talks now, especially on Israel's right to defend itself. That's what Antony Blinken, the US, has been saying for quite a while now. Let's move ahead. In fact, now we know that Jaishankar has given a couple of details and statements out on the Israel-Hamas war. Speaking on the escalation of the Israel-Hamas war, S. Jaishankar, the External Affairs Minister, has said that while terrorism is unacceptable, there also needs to be a solution for the issue of Palestine. He made the remarks at the Joint Secretary Session of the Senate's External Affairs and Defense Commission in Rome. He also said that a balance has to be struck on different issues and reiterated New Delhi's position of a two-state solution in the Israel-Palestine conflict. Let's listen in to what Dr. S. Jaishankar had to say.
I think it's important. I mean, obviously, what happened on October 7th, this big act of terrorism, the subsequent happenings after that, this has taken the entire region into a very different direction. But surely, it must be everybody's hope that eventually, the conflict cannot be the normal of that region, that it comes back to some stability, some cooperation. And within this, we have to find a balance between different issues. Because there's no question, I mean, if there is an issue of terrorism and we all find terrorism unacceptable, we have to stand up on terrorism. But there is also an issue of Palestine. There has to be a solution to what is, the problems which face the Palestinian people. And our view is that it has to be a two-state solution. If you have to find a solution, you have to find a solution through dialogue and negotiation. You cannot find a solution through conflict and terrorism. So we would support that as well. And given the current situation, what is happening there, we do believe that international humanitarian law must be respected by everybody.
All right, viewers, so what we see right now is top updates coming in on the Israel-Hamas war, and a short while back, Antony Blinken has also landed in Tel Aviv. At the same time, what we are seeing is that S. Jaishankar has made it very, very clear and given a statement saying that terrorism is unacceptable, very unacceptable, but there also needs to be a solution for the issue of Palestine. And Jaishankar was speaking at the Joint Secretary Session of the Senate's External Affairs and Defense Commission in Rome. Right. Big update coming in right now, viewers. You can see on your screens, Elvish Yadav, the winner of the popular reality show Bigg Boss OTT2, has been booked by the Noida police. And this is for hosting rave parties with banned snake venom and foreign girls in Noida. The police conducted a sting operation and arrested 5 members of his gang. A case has been registered against 6 named and other unknown accused at the Sector 49 police station. The FIR was filed under various sections of the Indian Penal Code and the Wildlife Protection Act. Police say that they used to collect a hefty sum of money for supplying the venom at parties. 9 snakes have also been rescued. I repeat, 9 snakes have also been rescued. 5 cobras also have been recovered by the Noida police, viewers. Big update coming in on Republic TV, where Elvish Yadav, the winner of the popular reality show Bigg Boss OTT2, has been booked by the Noida police for hosting rape.
को लगाया गया था, तो उसमें फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट, पुलिस डिपार्टमेंट और पीएफए द्वारा ज्वाइंट ऑपरेशन किया गया, जिसमें कि 5 लोगों की गिरफ्तारी हुई है। कई स्नेक्स उसमें मिले हैं और एक सीसी में वेनम बताया गया है, जो जांच के बाद क्लियर होगा कि ये वास्तविक रूप से क्या है।
जिस तरीके से बात सामने आ रही है कि ये रेप पार्टी में इस्तेमाल किया जाता था।
हाँ, इस तरह की इनपुट थे हमारे पास और इसमें हम लोग काफ़ी लंबे समय से कार्य कर रहे थे और पीएफए इसको फॉलो कर रहा था। उसी आधार पे कार्रवाई की गई।
कितने लोगों के नाम दर्ज किए गए इसमें आपको?
इसमें एफआईआर की तहरीर मैं आपको शेयर किया हूँ। 5 अभियुक्त गिरफ्तार किए गए हैं, बाकी कुछ अन्य लोगों के नाम पीएफए द्वारा दर्ज कराए गए हैं। ये तहरीर जो है पीएफए के द्वारा गौरव गुप्ता द्वारा दर्ज कराई गई है।
Let's go straight to Simran, joining us live right now. Simran joins us live on this breaking update coming in. This is very shocking, in fact, Simran, and we can see those visuals on our screen as well of what you can see that is that Elvish Yadav has been booked by the Noida police. Those visuals coming in on your screen. Take us through exactly what we see right now. What has happened? What is the allegation against him? Because he is a very popular figure after all.
Well, yes, absolutely. Rightly said, Elvish Yadav seems to be, of course, the one that influences the youth. And of course, because after his appearances on social media and his fanfare, this arrest or the FIR that has been registered under one of his name because of currently supplying snake poison into the parties in Noida has now blown up. The Noida police has registered an FIR by the complainant named